Betrayal trauma was actually coined a term in 1991, and what it means is when a betrayal is so significant, it causes a trauma that takes a long time to heal. Basically, it influences your attachment theory. So if you were once a stable attacher, you may become more likely to be avoidant, or you may be more likely to be an anxious attacher from that point forward. Usually, when it happens in a relationship, in the cases of infidelity, it's because the person was sensitive to betrayal anyway. Maybe they grew up in a family that one of the parents, ran out or, didn't want to be part of the family. Or maybe they were in a family that had other kinds of chaos and trauma. Those people are specifically more sensitive to being betrayed. But it doesn't matter so much who is the sensitive one and who is not. The fact is, betrayal trauma is real. And unless you get help with a professional going through it, it's very difficult to ever have a normal, committed relationship because that's always lurking in the back of your mind. And when you have trauma, you have significant feelings, you get more anxious, you worry. Everything about a relationship that usually brings us peace and happiness doesn't happen for people who have betrayal trauma. So let's just talk a little bit about what it is. Well, for one thing, you'll lose your sense of esteem. You'll feel worse about yourself if you have it because someone was able to know everything intimate about you. You were vulnerable and they betrayed that. And that is really significant. You may find yourself being more, when thoughts come up, more dulled. You may find yourself getting numb. You may find yourself loss of faith in others. You may have more suspicious, hypersensitivity with issues of relationships. You may not trust any men, or you may not trust any women. Whatever the sex was that betrayed you, you're going to project that onto all of the people within that category. And there's physical symptoms, including things like you feel like pain in your body. You may have like physical upset with your stomach or your digestion or headaches or dizziness. Dizziness is a big one that a lot of people who have trauma anyway generally suffer with, and with betrayal trauma they can get that often, and it's very scary. They usually end up getting checked by doctors numerous times. People who have any kind of a betrayal trauma will usually have many visits to a physical doctor. They don't always catch it, and it's hard to when it's originating from your thoughts or your feelings of something that happened in the past. So we already know what causes it. It's when a significant person in your life, maybe someone you really depended on, who knew you more than anyone else, betrayed that. Whether it was done with finances or a physical affair or emotional cheating or just telling a good friend something confidential about you that you now know it isn't sacred, it isn't between the two of you. Now it's something else. What you need to try and do is not avoid the symptoms or the feelings. And I'll tell you why, because avoiding it can become a coping mechanism with dealing with the symptoms, and you don't want that to happen because then it just gets worse and worse. What you can do is you can turn to other people. You can talk to other people about it. I think if it's really upsetting when the thoughts come, a really good practice is saying, I will be courageous enough to allow this thought in my head. I just see it, I feel it, but I don't have to react to it. Maybe putting a name on it. Oh my gosh, here comes Betty again, or here comes Fred again, or whatever the feeling is. When you name it, you're gaining more control while acknowledging it, which is so important. And recognizing your emotions, being able to see them, but not react to them. That is a big deal. If you have a close confidant, or you have a reverend, or you have a therapist, that's going to be best, because you can talk about the feeling, gain the support, and the more that support person can remind you of other times you've gone through things like this and you didn't crack, you didn't break, you made it, and you were able to come on the other side and trust and love again, the better you're going to do. If you're still not trusting people after a year of being betrayed, after the betrayal, then it's really time that you start working on this consciously with a therapist, one-on-one, because that means that what you're doing now, although it might be healthy, it may be minimizing the stress, it's not taking it away. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.